Have you ever wondered why some of the wisest people in history chose silence over speech? In a world that shouts, could silence be your greatest strength? Stay with us. This might just change your life. The noise that drowns the soul. Welcome to the channel. Our modern world is louder than ever. Notifications, advertisements, constant opinions, and endless demands. We are told to speak louder, hustle harder, and always be seen. But in the midst of this storm of sound, many are feeling lost, anxious, and disconnected. The Buddha once said, "Silence is an empty space. Space is the home of the awakened mind." This isn't just poetic wisdom. It's a call to return to something we've forgotten. Have you ever sat in a quiet room and truly listened? Not to music, not to a podcast, just listened? In silence, you meet yourself. And that's exactly what the noise is trying to prevent your encounter with your own soul. But here's the truth. Silence isn't absence. Silence is presence. It's not lack, it's depth. Stick with us, because over the next few minutes, you'll discover how silence can transform your life. Stay tuned till the end. You'll never see silence the same way again. The teachings of the Buddha on silence. Silence wasn't just something the Buddha practiced, it was something he lived. In many sutras, the Buddha responded to deep philosophical questions, not with words, but with silence. Why? Because truth often lies beyond words. The Buddha knew that speech can be a distraction. Words can become a web, entangling us in ego, arguments, and illusion. One day, a disciple asked the Buddha, "What is ultimate reality?" The Buddha smiled and said nothing. That silence wasn't empty. It was overflowing with truth. In Buddhism, silence is not passive. It is powerful. It's a tool for awakening, for listening, for realizing the nature of existence. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about becoming deeply conscious. And the more conscious you become, the less you need to speak. Because truth is quiet, but it echoes forever. Why we fear silence? Let's be honest, silence can feel uncomfortable. We play music when we drive, podcast while we walk, and scroll endlessly just to avoid being alone with our thoughts. But why? Because silence reveals the noise inside us. Our unresolved wounds, our regrets, our fears, all come to the surface when we're still. That's why silence is not just peaceful, it's courageous. It demands that we face ourselves. No filters, no distractions, just truth. But here's the beautiful part. Once you walk through that discomfort, you don't find emptiness. You find peace, clarity, awareness. You begin to hear the whispers of your soul. And that's where transformation begins. The power of mindful silence. In the monastery, monks often spend hours, even days, in noble silence. They don't speak. They don't gesture. They just observe. This silence is not suppression. It's mindfulness in its purest form. When you stop speaking, you start observing. You notice the rustling of leaves, the rhythm of your breath, the subtle movements of your emotions. And in that state, you enter the now. No future, no past, just presence. This is why silence is not empty. It's full of the present moment. It's where wisdom lives. It's where compassion grows. Try it. Just 5 minutes a day. Turn off the world and turn on your awareness. Words that matter less. The more you practice silence, the more selective you become with words. You realize not everything needs a response. Not every opinion needs to be shared. As the Zen proverb says, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." Have you noticed that the wisest people often speak the least? They listen more, they observe more. And when they do speak, every word matters. Silence teaches you to value speech, to use words with care, to stop wasting energy in arguments, and instead preserve peace. This isn't weakness, it's mastery. The sound of inner stillness. In meditation, silence becomes a gateway. As you sit, still and quiet, something extraordinary happens. You begin to hear the soundless sound, the inner stillness. Some call it consciousness, others call it presence. The Buddha called it nirvana, the extinguishing of craving, ego, and suffering. You don't need to climb a mountain or visit a temple. Just sit, just breathe, just be. And in that being, a sacred silence will rise within you. It doesn't come from the outside world. It was always there, waiting for you to return. When silence speaks louder than words. There are moments in life where silence says more than 1,000 words. At the bedside of a loved one, during heartbreak, at the peak of a sunrise. In those moments, we feel something deeper than language, something sacred. Buddhist teachers often use silence in their guidance. Because silence invites introspection, it respects the student's own journey. In fact, the highest teachings are not given, they are realized. In silence, realization blooms. More digital noise versus sacred stillness. Let's talk about today's biggest challenge: digital noise. Our phones, apps, endless content. It's like standing in a crowded marketplace 24/7. But here's a question. How much of that noise brings you peace? How much of it connects you with your true self? The truth is, sacred stillness doesn't trend, but it transforms. You don't need to abandon technology. You just need to reclaim your stillness. Turn off your phone. Close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Welcome back to yourself. Silence as a daily practice. So how can you bring silence into your everyday life? Start small. Begin your day in silence for 5 minutes. Practice mindful listening. Speak only when necessary. Take silent walks without music or devices. End your day reflecting in stillness. You'll notice a shift. Less anxiety, more clarity, deeper connections. You'll start hearing life more clearly, not with your ears, but with your heart. The way of the quiet mind. Silence is not escape, it's return. Return to truth. Return to awareness. Return to being. The Buddha walked the earth without noise, but his presence thundered with wisdom. You can do the same. In a world desperate to be loud, choose to be deep. Let your silence be strength. Let your stillness be wisdom. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with your soul, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Help us spread the light of silence in a world that needs it now more than ever.